Yeah, it was pretty tough out there today, especially so those last 5 or 6 holes where you come back and every shot just seems to be off the left. For a right-hander, that's quite difficult. So, that's where I started to find it really tough. I got off to a solid start and managed to make a few birdies through the middle, through the easier holes today. So it was good.
Okay. You've been quite a consistent performer on our tour over the last few years. You've been over in Japan this year. How nice is it to come back to the PGA Tour of Australasia and find yourself in this position at the season-ending tournament?
Yeah, it's good. My form's been a little bit below par for me anyway over the last few months. But my wife and I had a baby girl a few months ago, and travelling up to Japan and staying in a little shoebox hotel rooms and things like that, it was hard work having to spend time away from them. So having them here this week and 3 out of the last 4 weeks has been fantastic. It makes such a difference when you're happy off the golf course to what you can do on the golf course.
Questions? Rod?
It's obviously been a difficult week with the weather and conditions, Michael. What sort of expectations do you have about what might unfold tomorrow? You're obviously at the pointy end of the tournament. Do you have something in mind for what might unfold tomorrow, what you might need to shoot?
It'll really depend on how the guys finish today. I'm finished pretty early, so they've still got 4 or 5 holes to go. So if they finish strong, it's going to take a lot. But it's just nice to be in position to have a chance anyway, because like I say, it's been probably 6 or 7 months since I've been at the very top end of a tournament. So I'm just looking forward to the opportunity, and hopefully I can play well again tomorrow.
You talked a little bit about the challenges that come with being sort of a golfer in the Japanese tour and stuff like that. I mean, how much is it to come back to, places where you're familiar faces, places you're familiar with, and how much does that sort of help your game in terms of what does it bring to your game?
Yeah, I mean, it's huge, and the lifestyle is very different in Japan. They don't socialise the same way we do, and like I said, having a little girl at home and my wife at home, by herself dealing with a young one is pretty hard. So my mind wasn't really on my golf in Japan. Luckily, I managed to keep my card pretty early in the year, so I decided as soon as I had enough money up that I was going to flag the last half dozen events and come home and play here, because I knew that I could have them here at the same time. So it makes a huge difference, and golf is such a mental game. If you're not in the right space off the golf course, very hard to get into it on the course. So, it's been fantastic having them here, and hopefully by the time I go back to Japan next year, it won't be such a burden having to leave them.
Bruce?
Michael, good playing. What has been the difference this week?
I talk a lot about what's been going on off the golf course, but I've had a really good opportunity to work hard on my game, and I've probably been more consistent in terms of what I'm working on off the golf course for the last sort of month or so. I think I was searching a little bit over the last few months where the form wasn't quite there. So, whenever you do that, you're trying something different every day, and there's no way you're going to be consistent. So, just sort of gave myself a little bit of a talking to, and sort of tried to be more and more consistent with what I've done off the golf course in terms of my practice and gym work and things like that. And I think it's starting to pay fruition right at the end of the year.
You've done all right round here. I know they've been in lesser events and under a different layout, but you must have a sort of a comfort zone around Royal Pines, have you?
Yeah, it's always nice to play a golf course that you're familiar with, because you stand on holes and you know where you can and can't miss it. Even the new holes, there's not huge changes. It is a little trickier, and you've got to make sure you hit it in the right place off the tee, probably a little bit more. But each and every hole looks pretty much the same in terms of where it's situated on the golf course. There's no brand new golf holes or anything like that. You've just got to place yourself around them like you normally would. And it definitely helps being able to sort of fall back on memories of good performances around a particular golf course.
Michael, you've basically probably answered that for us. You've had the best round of the day so far. Are you surprised that the other leaders have seemingly just been marking time, like they haven't grabbed it by the throat and run away with it?
No, I'm not surprised. Given the weather we've had and the short amount of time that the green staff have had to get the golf course ready, They've done a fantastic job, but there is still that little bit. I mean, it's fantastic grass growing conditions out there. So you'll start off, and the first putt I hit today from outside sort of 10 feet, I was 6 feet coming back, and by the time you finish, the greens are 2 feet slower, so everything's coming up short. So it's pretty tricky, and I think that the greens, the new greens in particular, are a little bit bumpier than the ones on the back nine. So your scoring's probably going to happen on the back nine. It's if you got 6 feet putt, 6 foot putt is not a gimme this week because the greens are a little bumpy, and they get bumpier as the day goes on, just because like I say, the grass is growing so fast.
Ed?
Michael, the move to Japan, obviously you had a good few years here on the Australasian tour. What was behind the move? Was it just purely a financial one, the chance to make a bit more money, or what lured you over there, I guess?
It was, where can I go further in my career now? I love playing in Australia, and it's probably my favourite part of the world to play. The golf courses there, in my opinion, are the best in the world. But you can't quite make the amount of money that you want to. And world ranking points and all the rest of it, it's very, very hard to achieve. A top 50 world ranking or something like that, playing solely in Australia. So it was a career move and a financial move at the same time.